In the past, I've done the cheapest 400 and 500 horsepower American cars, so now we're doing the 300 horsepower ones to knock down all the pins. Today, I've got the 8 best cheap American cars from 2000 or newer with 300 horsepower or more. Let's get into it. Before we really get into this, I gotta say, like all my other videos, these are prices based on real listings I could find of cars in good condition with decent miles and no accidents. With that being said, the first car is the 2005 to 2010 Chrysler 300C. Depending on the year, these had between 340 and 360 horsepower with 390 pound-feet of torque. All that came from a 5.7-liter Hemi V8, and they usually cost between $8,000 and $13,000. They're especially hard to find, though, if you want one with decent miles, so this might not really be a great option after all.
You naughty, naughty, you teasing me, you naughty, naughty.
The next car is another Mopar, though, and it's the 2006 to 2010 Charger RT. These have basically the same specs as the 300Cs, but they are a little more popular, so they're a little bit more expensive, between $13,000 and $19,000. As a positive, though, I think they look a lot better and they have way more modding potential, and they're a lot more common. The downside to both of these is that they are the heaviest cars at just over 4,000 pounds.
Damn. This a big bitch.
The third car for today is the C5 Corvette, the ones made between 2000 and 2004. These had 5.7-liter LS1 V8s making 350 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. I have to admit, when I barely knew anything about the car world, I used to kind of not like these, basically just because they weren't a C6 or C7. But the cheaper C5s you can find are actually pretty good value. These usually cost between $15,000 and $20,000, but I even know someone who was able to pick up a low-mile, no-accident, clean one of these for $8,000.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, you definitely won't come across that too often, but if you somehow do, I'd definitely do whatever it takes to get that deal.
I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get these.
Next up is the 2004 Pontiac GTO with 350 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque. They also made these in 05 and 06, but those have 400 horsepower, so I mentioned these in the other video. The ones from 04 had a 5.7-liter V8 and weighed just over 3,700 pounds, costing between $13,000 and $17,000. Like I mentioned in my last video, for some reason, whenever I find one of these GTOs, they sound really mean. Basically, every time I'm at a car meet and I see one of these about to start up, I'm like... And for the next car, we have the 2000 to 2002 Camaro. These had between 305 and 325 horsepower depending on if it was an SS or a Z28 and if it was from 2000 or 01 or 02. On the market right now, these are usually going for between $10,000 and $15,000, but I actually think the prices might be higher than they used to be. Granted, I'm not saying I would get one of these as an investment, but maybe just something to look at.
Stocks only go up. This is the easiest game I've ever been a part of.
The third to last car for today is the 05 to 09 S197 Mustang GT. These had 4.6-liter V8s that I actually really like the sound of and came with exactly 300 ponies.
But anywho,
they weigh around 3,600 pounds and they usually cost between $14,000 and $18,000. For the second to last car, we have the 05 to 08 Pontiac Grand Prix GXP. The GXP versions are really hard to find from the digging I did, which is bad enough, but that means it'll also really suck for finding certain parts since Pontiac kind of pieced out a while ago. These did make 303 horsepower though from a 5.3-liter V8 and they weigh around 3,600 pounds. The ones I could find were between $7,000 and $12,000 for a decent one, but like I said, they're really hard to find. And the final car is the 06 to 07 Monte Carlo SS.
What's the S stand for?
on my world, it means suck.
These also made 303 horsepower from a 5.3-liter V8, but they weigh a little under 3,500 pounds, and they usually cost between $8,000 and $11,000. Tell me in the comments which of these is your favorite, or if you've had any of them and what you think of them. They are the more expensive ones on the list, but I'd probably choose the C5 or an S197 Mustang. Beyond that though, I'd honestly probably just save up a little bit more cash and search around more to find a clean C6 for around mid-20,000. For anyone who's new to the channel, I upload American car news and content like this every week. week. If there's something you want to see or a question you have, leave a comment below or shoot me an Instagram DM. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.